Hello and welcome to another episode of Grange TV. We have with us a very special guest, Mr. Christian Lee, current one champion in the lightweight division and the winner of the lightweight Grand Prix. He also signed at 17 years old. He's one of those people that another one of these guys that's an annoying overachiever. All this was done by the age of 22 as well. Am I correct with that? You did that all by the age of 22?
Um, yeah, I won my lightweight world title at the age of 20, and then the second one came at 21. The Grand Prix title came at 21, and now I'm 22, and I feel like I'm just starting my journey.
How did that happen? Because you signed, all your fights have been with 1FC, so you signed as a 17-year-old directly with 1FC. You'd never fought in like the smaller shows, so to speak. So how did that happen?
So it really just started with my sister and I. I was, I believe, 16 at the time. My sister was 18, and she fought locally in Hawaii. And she did a great job. She finished all of her opponents, and then from there, she got a call from One Championship offering to sign her. And from there, we traveled to Singapore, and that's where we met up with the Evolve fight team in Singapore. From there, once we became members, we went through like a bit of a tryout there. We became members, and I guess the team was just really impressed with how I was doing with the rest of the pro fighters in the gym. So they gave me a shot, and then at 17 years old, I was able to make my professional debut. That's how it happened.
What's your, like, I know your parents, your dad, everyone's involved. Can you talk about that a little bit and about your martial arts journey? Also, I've been meaning to ask you, did you wrestle in high school?
I did. So my freshman year, I wrestled varsity, and I did decently well. But I still had a very like young mindset at the time. After school, I wanted to go home and I wanted to train. I wanted to just commit everything to MMA, because at the time I'd already traveled overseas for a few MMA world competitions, and I'd done pretty well. I collected a few amateur world titles as a junior. So, I didn't want to spend my time just on wrestling. I was like, man, you can't submit, you can't strike. The only goal is to pin. So I didn't have much drive in that. I did 2 years of wrestling. And I never really. So my third year, as I was starting to get excited in wrestling, that's when I signed with One Championship, and I was ineligible to compete in high school wrestling anymore. So then the focus went straight to MMA.
And how instrumental is your family with your training?
Oh man, my family's been there throughout my whole career, and it started from before my sister and I were born. My parents, they started training, at an early age. They started off competing in Taekwondo. My mom's dad was actually sort of like a pioneer for mixed martial arts. He taught like the system called Hapdo Sul, which covered ranges from the striking, added in judo and a bit of jiu-jitsu. And then from there, my parents decided to open up their own martial arts gym, teaching, the very early stages of mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts wasn't around at the time back in the late 90s when they were opening up their gyms. So it was very new. They did very well. They had 3 martial arts gyms in Canada before my sister and I were born. And then from there, we just grew up on the mats. My sister and I both started training around 3 years old. And, from there, we just always grown up on the mats in the gym. I think I was like 11 years old when I first started training and rolling with the adults. And, from there, that's really just how it all started. Growing up, starting to get the fire for training. And then as we started competing, started really enjoying it as I competed on a higher level. I enjoyed traveling, seeing the world, and also competing, testing my skills against, people from all over the world. I really enjoyed that competition aspect of it. And from there, that's when I made the decision to make a career out of it.
As a kid, how badly did your sister beat you up?
Oh man, she's 2 years older than me, and she's always had a very, very big fire just inside of her. So growing up, I used to get smashed. She would toss me around, beat me up every single day, and I get my butt handed to me. But I really, looking back, I'm actually really thankful for it, because growing up, my whole early martial arts life, I learned how to get beat up, and I learned how to keep pushing through after losing over and over. And I feel that now, as I've developed, as I've matured as a person, as a martial artist, there's not too many people I come across that can give me a tough time on the mat. And so the fact that I've learned how to lose my whole early childhood life, it's taught me like a bit of perseverance and just a bit of grit that, no matter who I go against, I don't care about winning or losing. My whole goal is just to get better. So when I'm on the match training, it's nothing new to me whether I win or lose. I'm just trying to get better.
I think we were talking off air before, and I have a daughter. She's one, probably have more kids, almost one, and I can see she's like a little savage. And I'm not. I was actually not like that myself, but maybe she gets it from my wife. I don't know, but she is a little savage. But I look at like people that grew up that competed in sports and had an older sister that competed in the sport. And like you look at like I don't know if you watch basketball, if you used to watch basketball back in the day, like Reggie Miller and Cheryl Miller. And I think when you have like an older sister, like you can sort of, she's older and she's better technically and she's more developed, but you start to catch up physically quicker. But it's a little bit different to having an older brother, because your older brother he can be shit technically, but he's just gonna be like he's on roids, you know what I mean? So it's hard. But I think when you have a sister, like she's much better technically as well. So you have to develop like your technical attributes as well. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I never had an older sister, but I'm just asking you what your take on all of that is, and if you're familiar with Cheryl Miller and that.
No, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with. I don't really follow much basketball. I really don't follow much sports other than MMA. But yeah, I really feel like that's true. Growing up with an older sister, man, she was always stronger than me, but she was also always more technical. And so really there was no way to beat her other than just continuing to try my best. And over the years, I did have to develop, certain techniques, ways that I can, really survive, first of all, with just technique, and then ways to win with technique. And, growing up on the mats, not only training with my sister, but always being thrown in with the adults, there was no way I could physically overpower them, in the grappling or in the striking, because I was just a kid. I didn't have much strength yet, but I was able to develop, certain ways I could technically just nullify their strength, and then ways that I could technically overcome them. And before I knew it, I was able to be, tapping out adults left and right with just pure technique alone. And then I thought it was really great once I started to add in a little bit of strength. Then it just felt easy. So I'm very grateful that I had to learn how to up the technical side first before I had the strength advantage over anybody.
You have a younger sister as well, and she's signed as well, and your brother-in-law signed with one as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, my baby sister, Victoria, they just announced that she signed with one championship, and I'm so proud of her for that. She's so young, but she's so incredibly determined, and she works so hard. I really don't know any other 16-year-old girl that could handle, not only the pressure, but just the work ethic that it takes to be a professional fighter at such a young age. I think it's great that I started at 17, because I'm able to kind of give her the insight, give her the knowledge, and try to help her not make the same mistakes that I did when I was her age. But Victoria, man, she's doing everything right with her career so far. She's able to handle the pressure of the interviews, the photo shoots, the video shoots, and she's able to continue to stay focused on her end goal, which is just being a better martial artist and blocking everything out and just focusing on her goal of doing well and making this a career. So I'm very proud of how she's handling it right now. And, you know, with my sister, me, my dad, we're going to help to manage her career the right way. But, you know, with Victoria, that's where she's at. She's on track. And I'm very excited for what her future holds. As for my brother, Bruno, he's a great guy, man. He works incredibly hard. He's on the mats every day with me. And he's just putting in work. Right now, this is going to be his second fight in the bantamweight division. And he's coming off of, I think it was a unanimous decision loss over Shinya, who's also ranked in the top 5 now. You know, me personally, I feel like that was just kind of a tough fight for him. He took that matchup on 3 weeks' notice, and he had to drop down to 145 pounds bantamweight in those 3 weeks. So I feel like that, you know, that had something to do with it. So, you know, this camp, he's had a lot of time to work on his weight descent, and I'm really excited for when he steps in there against his opponent, Kwan Wan-il. I think he's going to do really well, and you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing him work his way up the bantamweight division, and hopefully we'll see him touch gold by the end of next year.
And you have that's your brother-in-law, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a younger brother. Does he train?
Yep.
Does he compete and train in martial arts?
I do have a younger brother as well. He's 14 years old right now, and he's growing every day. You know, he's starting to step into our fighters training. He's doing incredibly well with the professional fighters on our team. And he hasn't officially decided to make fighting a career, and no one's pressuring him to. He can do whatever he wants in life. But if he does choose to, he's got incredible talent. He's been training his whole life. He's very just naturally skilled, naturally strong, and he's got all of the resources that he needs to make a career out of it. So, you know, if he chooses to, and he'll definitely be a top prospect for sure.
You spoke earlier about the mistakes that you've made in the past, because you debuted at 17. Your sister, she's debuting now, 16 years old. What were some of the mistakes, and how did you deal with them?
You know, for me, when I signed at 17 years old, I was just so excited, so nervous, and I had a lot of angst. I made my, I still remember December 2015 was when I made my professional debut, and I got a 30-second knockout. That was my first fight, and you know, I was just so pumped up. I took the next one the following month in January. From there, I took the next fight in March, and this whole time I was still in high school. So I would train after school, then I'd fly out to fight. I'd come back and I'd go straight back to school, and you know, I was able to handle it fairly well. But after fighting 5 times within the span of 11 months. And I just got so burned out to the point where, like, I didn't notice I was burnt out. But when I stepped in there for my 6th fight, and I didn't have the same focus, the same fire as when I first started, because it was just going from fight camp to fight camp and just one opponent after the next. So I feel like in that sense, if I'd taken a break to just kind of rest my mind, rest my body, recuperate, and then create a solid game plan with each opponent, you know, the outcome would have been different. But, you know, I don't have any regrets with the way my career went. And, you know, I just like to use little things like that to just guide my little sister now as she's entering her journey. And, you know, in that sense, we're going to take her career one fight at a time and just try to stop after each match, just make sure that her mind and body is fully recovered and ready to go into the next one before she takes the fight.
What kind of kid were you at school?
In school, my grades were decent. You know, I wouldn't say that I was a straight A student, but you know, I was always a decent. like a fairly smart kid. I was able to do a few AP classes. My senior year in high school, I attempted to take an AP calculus class, but after doing that for about one quarter, that with the fighting was just too much. I had to drop that class. But for me, I was in school, but my mind was just on fighting. And I was just watching fights. I'm just taking notes on my training the day before. And that was just what consumed all of my thoughts. So I was able to just graduate and, keep my grades up there enough. But my mind was just always on fighting.
Yeah, but as a kid, like who? Say if we were at school together in the 10th grade, which kid were you? Like what kind of person were you?
Um, I just kept to myself. I had a few friends here and there. I actually met my wife in high school. So we met my sophomore year, and she was a freshman at the time. So my high school year, we were just together the whole time. And then it's just me and her. I kept to myself. We had friends, but I was pretty quiet. I wouldn't say like I had much desire to just put myself out there or have too many friends. I was just very focused from a young age. I'd spend time with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and the rest of the time I'd just be training, and I really just made up in my mind from a very early age that I wanted to be a professional fighter, and that was kind of just all that ran through my head, just 24/7.
Where do you think that focus and that drive comes from? Like, where do you think? Because there's heaps of people that their parents run martial arts schools, and they don't do anything to do with martial arts a lot of the times. Where do you think that focus, that laser focus, came from?
Well, I think I would credit a big portion of it to my dad. He's a very intense, very focused guy, and we've been very close my whole life. He's always made it a point to be a big influence in all of our lives, in all of my siblings' lives, and we'd always just spend time together, and he'd have these life talks with me, just talks that really changed the way that I look at things. So even from my high school days, he just talked to me about like what it takes to be successful, and what the kind of mindset you need to have to be a successful person, to set yourself apart from others. And I would see my dad waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and working, coming home at 11 at night, because he had a second career as well, doing real estate, on top of teaching martial arts. So I've always seen my parents working extremely hard, and my parents, of course, are very successful people. So I always put the dots together, that if you want to be a successful person, you have to work extremely hard. And with that, compared with my dad's constant life coaching, I feel like that kind of just shaped me into being a very focused, I guess, serious person from a young age.
All right, and are your other siblings? Are they the same? Like, do they all have that kind of focus as well?
Yeah, I would say they're very focused as well. My little siblings, they like to play around it, and we all baby them very much. But they do have that focus, and they know already at such a young age that no matter what they end up doing, they're gonna be successful at it, and they're gonna work extremely hard at it. And so, I credit that to my parents, because they've instilled that work ethic in all of us. In all four of their kids, they've instilled work ethic and discipline. So um, I know that Victoria, she's starting her fighting career, and Adrian, whatever he chooses to do, I know that he's going to be successful, because not only does he have the support behind him, but he has the winning mindset, that whatever he makes up his mind to do, he's going to do it well. And I feel that's what me and all of my siblings have in us.
It's such an important thing, the work ethic, because you can be talented; it'll get you so far, but at a certain level, everyone's talented. No matter what the skill is, and what's going to set you apart is your work ethic. And I think that's one of the biggest gifts you can give to your kids. I think that's fantastic. Um, do you think? And I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. do you think that training so much, because being a coach, I was a coach for a long time, so people always would say this, when you got a young guy and you're kind of pushing him to do well in martial arts or whatever, and people go, oh, do you think it's affecting his childhood or her childhood, it's taking away from their childhood, etc., da 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 da. Do you think that the way that you trained and how focused you were with everything took away from your childhood and your adolescence, or that it gave you more stuff?
You know, throughout the interviews, I've actually heard this question a lot, and the way that I think about it is, on one hand, you can say that being so focused towards a specific goal from a young age, in my case, martial arts, being so focused on it will take away your childhood, and I, from an early age, I figured out that it's what I'm most passionate about, and when I can turn my passion into a career at such a young age, it's really just a blessing, because people they spend their whole lives. If they want to be a doctor, they spend their whole lives preparing to be a doctor. They make up their mind from high school that they want to be a doctor. After they graduate, they spend 4 years of college and another 8 years at medical school just to become a doctor. So it will take them how long to really get to what they want to do, which is their career. And I was able at 17 years old to not only make up in my mind what I wanted to do, but actually start my career in something that I'm passionate about. So, on one hand, you can say that, you're taking away somebody's childhood, but on the other hand, you can say that you're guiding them towards a specific career that can change, that can really change and elevate their life. So I'm incredibly grateful. I may have sacrificed more than other teenagers had to sacrifice during my high school life, but who else can say that at 22 years old, they're the champion of the world, and they've made a decent living for themselves and their family. So I'm very grateful that my parents pushed me in the direction they did, and I'm grateful that I sacrificed all that I did, because it's not easy to make a living out here. And especially, it's not easy to make a living with something you're passionate about. So I'm very grateful for the way that my life went, and I wouldn't take anything back.
For what it's worth, my opinion on that is like, it's you're stealing someone's childhood if the person doesn't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, if they're making
Yeah.
you do fuck calculus. You know what I mean? If they were just saying to you, no, you're going to do this, da 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 da, then I'd say that that's taken away from someone. You know what I mean? But if I saw that, like I said,
Mm.
like I have my daughter, if I saw that my daughter was gifted at ballet and she loved it, then I would do everything I could for her to excel in whatever her passion is. You know what I mean? And I think that just is going to
Mm-hmm.
enhance someone's thing. So good on you and good on your family for doing that, and recognizing that your kids have that talent and have the thing. I was going to ask you, is it hard to watch your sister fight? Is it hard to watch that? Like, see her getting hit or hurt or
Yeah,
anything like that?
it is actually. And I always say it's a lot harder for me to watch my sister fight than for me to actually go in there and fight myself, because she's my older sister, but in many ways, we're like peers, and she's like my little sister as well. We take care of each other, and when I see her step in there, when I see her take cracks, I mean, I know she's tough, I know she can take it, but I myself get very nervous whenever she steps in there, and I get extremely nervous when I see my little brother and sister step into competitions as well. So for me, like, as much as I know that my sister is ready, she is extremely talented and she's gonna tear through her opponent. I get extremely nervous every time she steps in there.
Do you get more nervous, or are the feelings different? Not necessarily more or less, but are they different between your younger brother and your younger sister? Do you feel more protective towards your younger sister? I don't know. I've only got a younger sister, and she doesn't fight or anything. So, if someone hit her, it's a different story. You know what I mean? But between you and
Yeah.
your the younger brother and younger sister, is there a difference?
Um, for me, I would say the only difference is like with my little brother in the gym, I'm okay with pushing him harder. Like I'll put him in the rounds with the adult. I'll put him in the hard rounds. My sister, I'm a little bit softer, but when it comes to the competition, I'm equally as nervous for both of them and they're like my babies, you know. I'm very close to them, and every time they step in there, just knowing that, you know, the result is unknown just makes me nervous.
And are you worried about the results, or is it the physical trauma that you're like when you
No,
see?
for me, it's like martial arts has been such a big part of my life and my whole family's life that I see how tough they are on a daily basis. You know, I see them pushing through. So I know that no matter what, like, they're in there with somebody that's their own age, their own skill, their own weight. I don't, I don't fear for them physically hurting them because I know how tough they are, and I know that, you know, their skills are, you know, are high enough to allow them to defend themselves. I'm just worried about the outcome, you know, for them. I know how much they love the competition, and I know how much they crave that win. So I'm just nervous on the outcome, and of course nervous on a little bit nervous about them getting hurt. But for the most part, it just nervous about the outcome because of how much they want to win.
All right, I'm gonna kind of change direction here. I just want to ask you, how close was that armbar from Aoki? It looked like you were following the thumb out, but then he changed it. Can you?
Yeah, you know, Shinya, man, he is an incredibly talented fighter, and he's one of the best submission artists out there. So um, once he locked that armbar on, I was fully prepared for my arm to break. And in my mind, you know, I just had a split second to think about it, and I'm just thinking, as soon as my arm just pops, I'm gonna pull it out. As soon as it snaps, I'm gonna pull it out, and I'm gonna continue fighting. But thankfully, he went to adjust, and then looking back at the replay, he went to tuck it under his armpit. And as soon as he did that, it allowed me a split second to throw the legs over his head, and then sit up out of the armbar. So that split second saved me right there. But I was fully prepared to let it break, and I think a few more seconds it would have broken. But that fight meant so much to me, man. I was ready to die. So getting my arm broken was nothing.
And he is a sweetheart too. He will break your arm, like you know what I mean. Like it's not.
Oh yeah.
He's not gonna wait to see. Oh, I wonder if this is gonna break. He'd break your arm and go have a burger. So,
Yeah.
for you to, yeah. So you like, because I was watching it. As I was watching, I was like, oh fuck, he's not gonna get out. And but you did. And but your arm did bend. Did he hurt you? Like your arm seemed to bend in a rather. I
Well,
mean, yeah.
you know, my arm was a bit achy after the fight. It was sore. I'm not gonna lie, but as soon as he snapped the armbar on, I had a split second, and what I did was I shifted my weight. I believe he was armbarring my right arm. I shifted my weight to the opposite side, and I was able to expose my shoulder cap. And then by doing that, it just allowed a little bit more flex on my arm than it normally would have if I was pinned with my back flat. And that's what really saved my arm from being snapped right there. And then the second one was when I was able to throw the legs over. But yeah, if I didn't clear my shoulder cap there, probably would have snapped a lot sooner.
Yeah, because man, that was a good escape. I didn't think you were going to get out.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. It was tight. That was very tight.
And then so what happened in between the first and second round there, where because you came out guns blazing in that second round. What was the thought process behind that?
Well, you know, we had a really good training camp leading up to that fight, and my conditioning was just prime right there. So I came into the second round, and I was completely fresh. I was able to stay calm throughout the first round, and then my dad was just really calm in the corner. He gave me a bit of water, and he just said, "We got that out of the way. Now let's go back to the game plan." Our game plan was, you know, to stop the takedown and to touch him with the hands. So that's exactly what I did. We entered into the clinch. I was able to shuck out of there, and then once I landed a few hands, just landed right on the right spot, and I was able to put him down. So that's all it was, just kind of keeping me in focus and reminding me what our game plan was. And once I was able to execute that, then that was the end of the fight.
Did you feel that he had slowed down going into the second round? Did you feel that he was maybe breathing hard or anything, or it was just you?
No, I feel like Shinya was always gonna do what Shinya was gonna do. You know, everybody knows his game plan is to close the distance, take you down, pound you out, and submit you. So I knew that going to the second, he was gonna plan on doing the exact same thing. It was just up to me to make it different, and you know, the game plan worked. And you know, looking back at the fight, really, I was only taken down one time, and that was in the early exchanges in the clinch. And he's a smart fighter. What he did was he baited me. He baited me. You know how you throw a jab? They want to throw a jab right back at you.
Yeah.
So in the clinch, he clinched me up. He threw a knee to my body.
Sure, yeah.
As I threw the knee back, that's when he went for the rip. And then from there, he got me down one more time, was with a redrop. But I knew that what he wanted was that clinch. So as soon as we were in there, I was just very cautious, made sure to back out of there, and then I was able to execute the game plan.
Did you feel how worried were you when, because he got mount in that as well on you? How worried were you during those exchanges?
You know, I was actually strangely calm when he mounted me.
That's why
I
asked,
knew that
because you didn't look like you were like. I'm sure you didn't want to
Yeah.
hang out there. I'm sure you want to. This is fucking where I want to be. But you looked
Mhm.
like calm in those exchanges.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, me and Shinya, we've actually trained together quite a few times. When I first joined Evolve when I was 17 years old, he was the champ at the time, and I was just a young kid entering the team. So we'd roll together all the time, and he tapped me out many times, over and over. I was able to do well, you know, but ultimately, you know, he was just able to get the better of me in the grappling exchanges. So I knew that his best weapons were going to be from the back. So as long as I didn't give up my back, you know, I was going to be okay. And so I just stayed calm there. I was defending the elbows, and I was just waiting for the perfect opportunity to get out. And you know, one thing I always tell my sister now, my little sister, as she's getting ready, is like the most important thing, you know, in a fight is to stay focused on your end goal, which is ultimately your game plan. And if you stay focused enough on your end goal, then nothing that happens in a fight is going to distract you. And the only reason people get frustrated, or the only reason people panic in fights, is because they lose focus on their end goal. If you stay focused on that end goal the whole time, doesn't matter what position you end up in, as long as you end up getting the finish in the end. So that's what really carried me through in that fight.
Was it weird fighting someone who you trained with? Were you even friends, or it's just someone you happen to share a gym with?
You know, we trained together. I think 2015 and 2016. I was 17 at the time, and then you know, he went back to Japan. I went back to Hawaii. We trained together one more time, and then that was when I was 18. From there, then it was 2 years. We both had many fights in between, and 2 years. And then, but we always stayed friendly. You know, I saw him in Japan when he won his belt back against Edward Foliang. You know, I was congratulating him. You know, we're very friendly when we see each other. But at the end of the day, you know, I believe we both have similar mindsets when it comes to fighting. We're in there just for pure business, and we're both in there as martial artists. So, you know, we put our friendship aside and we just fought. After the fight was over, you know, we're friends again. So that's just how it was for that one.
One of the fights where I really started like to see who you were as well. Like I'd followed, because I follow like these obscure guys fighting in fucking Russia that I tell people about, and people are like, nah, we don't know, man. We got lives. So so I knew about you already, but I know Martin Ewan. I'm pretty good friends
Hmm.
with one of his coaches, and I've met Martin a few times, but I know how good Martin is. And you were like a young guy when you fought him the first time, and you're still a very young guy when you fought him the second time. but I was super impressed, man, because he's been fighting for a long time. This guy's like, and it's someone that I can gauge. I can go, I know Martin's got good stand up, etc. How did you feel fighting him two times and pushing him to that split decision, and also the fact that then seeing the success that he has had? And when I say success, I don't mean just Martin's wins or whatever. Like, he fought guys like Bibiano Fernandez, who's a legend. You fought Shinya Aoki. Like, I don't care who won. Like, to have those good close fights is no joke. You know what I mean? So how did you prepare? Because your second fight that you had with him was a split decision. Like, it was. So yeah, please, you told me you were there.
Yeah, so me and Martin, our first matchup was in Macau, quite a few years back, and it was a good fight. He was able to land the shots he wanted to land, and I feel like I just was so young and I was just so raw when I stepped in there that I was just focused on all offense. At that time, defense was not a thing in my mind. I was undefeated. I was 18 years old, and I just went out guns blazing, and I got caught. And that was a big learning experience for me. I feel like I was able to really just reevaluate my whole game and improve from there. And then after a few wins in the featherweight division, I was able to get a title shot against him and a rematch. But I really, when I look back at that matchup, I really wish that I had taken just a bit of time in between my previous bout with Kazunori Yokota, because in that matchup, I broke my left thumb. And right after I came back, I got casted up. They offered me the title shot, and they said that I had 6 weeks. It was going to take 5 weeks to get the cast off, and I took the fight. So my whole training camp consisted of just running and really just like, shadow boxing, partner drills. I wasn't able to do any sparring. I wasn't even able to hit the bag. And, I didn't get the cast off before the week that I flew out. So looking back, it wasn't the best idea, because when I went in there, I did feel like my timing was off. I didn't have the, that same level of conditioning that you get off of the hard sparring in a fight camp. And so I really felt like that was a big mistake on my part. I was just being so excited getting my first title shot. I didn't want to turn it down. I definitely didn't want somebody else to get the shot. So I just took the match with no real preparation. And, it was able to, we ended up getting a split decision. He got the better of that one. And I feel like that was just because, he's the champ. It was such a close fight. It was very uneventful. I feel like we both wanted to do more in that matchup. And, that's why I still feel like I would love to have a rematch, just because of the fact that it was, such a terrible camp. The fight, didn't go the way that either of us wanted the fight to go. So I would love to see a finish in that matchup. So, but in terms of Martin's career, man, I can't take anything away from him. He's done very well defending his belt, winning the belt over Murat, first of all, and then, defending the belt, going on to face guys like Bibiano. He's done great in his career so far. So, no hard feelings, nothing bad to say about him. He's done great.
You're at lightweight though now. What weight do you walk around at? Because you're still kind of growing. You're still 22 years old. Your body's still maturing. So what weight do you walk around at? How heavy are you normally? 4 weeks after a fight, how heavy are you?
Normally, and 4 weeks after a fight, I'm around 190.
190.
Yeah, 190. Off season I'll get up to 200, but like typically walking around I'm 190, and then from there I make a very strict descent down to 170. But it's definitely getting harder to get the weight off. I feel like I'm just kind of filling into my frame now, and so the weight just comes on easier now. But I definitely love to make that match happen. I know that I could get my way down there to 55 if I needed to, but
what weight do you reckon you're going to end up at? What weight do you reckon you'll end up weighing when you're just walking around? Like, do you reckon you'll walk around at 205, like comfortably, like as say when you're 26, 27?
Yeah, I definitely think that my walking weight is going to gradually go up, and I see the welterweight division within the near future. Um, I plan on making a statement here at lightweight and clearing the whole division out before I make any moves. But definitely, the plan is to go to welterweight next.
You should fight Martin when you like weigh 205 pounds and he's like 145 or something. That'll be the strategically the best time to do it. You know?
I don't think logistically that fight would be able to happen like that, but that would be great.
It doesn't matter. Just call him out, and if he doesn't take it, it's like it's on him. You know, like even though you weigh 30 kilos more. But no, but that's the thing is, I knew you were pretty big, but I didn't know that you walked around at 200. I that's bigger than I thought that you were. I honestly I thought 185 or something like that because that guy that you're fighting now, the next guy, I'm not going to say his name correctly, so my apologies. Is it Lapicus?
Yeah, Yuri Lapicus.
Yeah, Lapicus. He's a big boy too, and he's 14-0. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the matchup with Lapicus because he's just a hungry contender. He's undefeated in his professional career, and so far he's just steamrolled through all of his opponents. So I feel like he's gonna come out the way that I did when I was 18, just guns blazing, going for my head, and I think he's in his mind. He's going to take me out in one round. So he's going to be looking for an early finish. And I'm excited because I like it when I go in there with somebody who's ready to bring the fight. And I definitely think that Yuri's going to bring the fight to me.
Do you like fighting in Asia? Are you received well, like fighting in Asia? The fact that you're from like Korean, is Korean and Chinese background, am I correct?
Yeah. My mom's Korean. My dad is Chinese. He's from Singapore.
So your dad's from Singapore?
My dad's from Singapore, yeah.
Okay.
But I was raised my whole life in Hawaii, and so I would love to fight here. I heard they were working on bringing one championship to US, possibly Hawaii. So I would love to fight in the US. But for now, it's been great fighting in Asia. The fans are great. They love the high intensity action paced fights. So it's been great so far. I really can't say anything bad because my career's been very good so far. So
are you seen as an Asian fighter when you're over there, or are you seen as an American fighter?
I don't know. I do rep the Singapore flag, just out of respect because, I am Singaporean. It's in my blood. A lot of people, what I hear a lot in Singapore, people saying about me and my sister is that we're not real Singaporeans because we don't hold a Singapore passport because we weren't born in Singapore. But at the end of the day, it's like we are Singaporean. It's in our blood. So, that's why we choose to rep it. But if you ask where we're from, we're from Hawaii, and that's our home to us. But for the most part, the fans are great, and I think we're received pretty well there.
Can you speak any other language?
No, unfortunately, I can't. Not even close. But most of my family in Singapore, they can speak both languages. My grandparents speak English and Chinese as well. So I've tried to learn a bit, but they say I've got a really American accent.
Are you trying to learn Mandarin? Are you trying to learn Mandarin?
I try to learn here and there, but it just doesn't come very natural to me. So I just try to try to say a few phrases when I can.
It's super hard. I'm trying to learn as well, and like, fuck, man, I get told to stop. I don't.
Exactly.
No. Just speak any other language. Stop it. And then I don't. what happens? So, who are you on fight day? What happens if you talk us through your day, like, and fight day? By that I mean, everyone's different. Sometimes I say to people, fight day. I think I was speaking to Cedric Doumbé, who is he's the number one kickboxer in the world at the moment at welterweight, and his fight day starts fight week.
Mm.
So all different people have fight days different. So what's
Mhm.
fight day for you? How does it? What happens? How does it start? And when does Christian, the human being, stop and we're going to fight guy, that alter ego come out?
Um, for me, I really just try to stay as relaxed as possible. Um, early on in my career, I just be completely amped up from the moment I land, the moment I touch down, the whole week until I fight. But I find that it just wastes your energy. It drains you unnecessarily. So my whole fight week, I'm just very calm. Even the morning of the fight, I wake up, I'm calm, I stretch. I loosen up a bit, and it's not until um, I touch down in the stadium that's when I'm focused, and I'm focused, but I'm still calm. I keep all of my energy in, and I just try to stay as relaxed as possible until the moment that I walk out for the fight. As soon as I walk out for the fight and the cage door closes, that's when it's on for me, and that's when I just channel all of my focus into my fight. So for me, I don't waste any unnecessary energy. So I just try to stay as calm as possible up until that last moment.
When they wrap your hands up and the dude comes in and says 5 minutes and then you're up, or whatever it is that he says,
Mhm.
what are you feeling then?
Feeling just calm, very very peaceful. Um, I'm just ready to go. What I do is I just think about what I've planned to do in my match, and I just kind of play that over and over, and I just try to remind myself everything that we've worked on for the specific opponent, and I just keep running through. I take a lot of notes in my spare time and in my training camps, so um, in my notes I make a specific game plan towards my opponent, towards his strengths and weaknesses, and what I'm going to do, and it's like I'm just reading it over and over, and all the way until the point where I walk out. Then I make sure that more importantly than anything, my mind is clear. And when my mind is clear, I'm able to just zone in on what I need to do.
Do you feel a lot of nerves?
Um, I'm not gonna lie. The nerves are always gonna be there for me. I feel just the fact that you're stepping in there against another person that's trying to take your head off, and the result is unknown. But for the most part, nerves aren't too much of a deal for me. Um, as a kid competing, the nerves used to always get the better of me. I would just shut down. I would feel too nervous. I'd either get too worked up or I'd just crash and feel tired. But over the years, through my time competing as a professional, I've been able to find a healthy medium between it all, and just stay very focused on my game plan. And when I get in there, nothing matters to me more than achieving my goal in the match. So that's all I'm focused on, and I'm able to block the nerves out.
Do the nerves in that disappear once you touch, like, when does everything go away and you're in the fight? Is it once you touch gloves, or once the first punch is thrown, or once they hit you? Like, when are you, like, you're in the fight, you blanked out, nothing else, nerves are gone? When does that happen?
As soon as I step into the cage,
Or even
that's when it
before?
happens for me.
Even
Yeah, even
before?
before.
So as soon as the thing, everything's gone.
Yeah, as soon as I step in there, I'm ready to go. And without any of the announcements, without touching gloves, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to throw down right on the spot.
Awesome. I have a question as well in regards to, obviously you're a very competent fighter. You've achieved a lot of things in your own right, but there would have been times when you were growing up, you were watching guys like Eddie Alvarez, Shinya Aoki. Like, if you watched fighting, you watched these guys fight. Especially someone like Eddie, who's fought everywhere. He's fought in every single thing. and now they are potential matchups. And Shinya was a matchup. What's that like?
For me, my mindset when it comes to fighting guys like Shinya, guys like Eddie, they're legends in the sport. And I respect all that they've done in their careers and all that they've done for the sport of MMA. But the moment I sign the contract, the moment I step into the cage with them, it really does not matter who they are or what they've done. I could be stepping in there with Mike Tyson. I have so much respect for the guy, but it really doesn't matter who's standing across from me. It doesn't matter what they've accomplished. When I sign the contract, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to put my life on the line against them. So when I stepped in there with Shinya, he was not Shinya Aoki. He was just another man standing in front of me, trying to take me out. So for me, that's how I think of it when I step in there.
Where do you want to go? Like, what do you want to do with the fighting? Because you've achieved so much so young. What's like? Where are we heading? Where is the Christian Lee train going?
And for me, I find that a lot of people when they enter fighting, of course, every fighter, their end goal is to get the belt, to be a champion. But for me, it really kind of just marks the start for my journey. Once I captured the belt, I felt like this was just the beginning of my story. I plan on defending it many times. There's a lot of hungry, talented competitors in the lightweight division. So I plan on defending my belt against each and every one of them. And once the division's cleared out, that's when I make my move up to welterweight, and from there do the same.
So you will be making a move up to welterweight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, cool. And so now, when's your youngest sister? When is she debuting? Like, when is she fighting?
Can't say when she's fighting, but she just started her camp, so it's gonna be pretty soon.
So wow, and then you'll have, and your other sister. Will the three of you in a conceivable future fight on the same card? Is that something that is logistically possible? Like with
You know, it is possible. With my sister and I, we started off fighting on the same card with each other. We've done it a handful of times already. But we always say after the fight that this is the last time. We always say that we're not going to do it again because it's so much pressure, so much stress, just having both of us fighting together. But who knows, right now we're saying that it wouldn't be ideal. We wouldn't want to happen, but who knows? It could very well happen in the near future. But right now, my sister, yeah.
No, so sorry. Go.
Right now, my sister, she's taking a little break with her pregnancy, but yeah. She'll be when she comes back. Who knows? Maybe one championship will make it happen.
Because I was going to ask you, is that something that one has mentioned or is pushing towards? Because I don't think that for sure has never happened. Like three siblings on the one card, like sisters and the brother, never. That would never have happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was something that they've mentioned or pushed for or whatever.
Yeah. I'm sure that they would really appreciate that. I'm sure that it would be a big marketing push, but we'll see. Maybe if the fights line up correctly and the dates line up, but that's a whole lot of stress.
You should get them all, like your younger brother, your brother-in-law, and your dad.
Oh, the five of us.
Your dad still looks young. Your dad could still do it.
Step in there.
Yeah, you have 6 of you all in the one card. Never stops up here, mate. Never stops.
Yeah.
Now, hey man, look, listen. I know you took your day out, to some time out of your day. You just finished the session. I really appreciate your time, man, and thank you so much for doing this. And we'll definitely be watching your fight and wish you the very, very best of luck. is there, where can people reach you? Where can fans go and look and etc. And what other projects have you got that are coming up before? Think.
Oh yeah, well, first off, man, thank you for having me on the show. It was great talking with you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, for all the fans, man, you can catch me on Instagram or Facebook. It's just Christian Lee MMA. Um, I can't promise that I'll be posting actively. I try my best to, but most of my time is spent here in the gym or with my wife and my family. But I appreciate all the love and support from the fans, and it's really what keeps this sport alive is the support from the fans. So yeah, I appreciate it. Whoever's watching this show.
Awesome, awesome. And any projects like your family's gym is United MMA in Hawaii. Whereabouts in Hawaii is it?
Yeah, United MMA. It's located in on Oahu in Waipio. So for anyone who's in Hawaii, uh, the gym is temporarily closed right now, but we're looking to reopen early next year. So definitely do a big push, and we'll be posting that once it get reopened.
Oh, awesome, awesome. All right, thank you so much, man, and good luck with your fight and good luck with your preparation. And again, thanks a lot, my friend. Take care.
All right, man. No problem. Take care.